My name is Crystal. I'm sitting in a small room at the Women's Support Center, looking at my daughter Lily sleeping soundly in the crib. The past few weeks have been a whirlwind, but I finally feel like I've taken back control of my life. 2 weeks ago, I was at a wedding gathering hosted by Ryan and his new wife Ava at a small restaurant on the outskirts of the city. I'd been hesitant to accept the invitation, but Ryan's sincere words made me decide to go. As I stood on the small stage with the microphone in my hand, I took a deep breath. The fear that once gripped me was gone. I began to speak about seeing myself, about how I used to live in a seemingly perfect house, but felt like a shadow. I talked about how I'd been worn down by my husband Victor's words and looks, and how I finally realized that love can't be one-sided. Victor was there, standing beside his mother. He didn't smile, but he didn't look away either. I could see his shoulders tense as I spoke, but I didn't stop. I told everyone that I left not out of revenge, but because I loved myself more than his comfort, and I wanted Lily to grow up in a place where her mother was respected. After I finished speaking, there was no applause, but the silence said it all. I walked towards the back of the room where my friend Maya held Lily. As I passed Victor for the first time in years, I looked him straight in the face, and he said nothing. It all started at Ryan's wedding. Victor's family was wealthy, and his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, were very traditional. Mr. Thompson was strict and expected everyone to follow his rules, while Mrs. Thompson was passive, aggressive, always making subtle jabs. Lily was 8 months old at the time, and she was teething. I was exhausted, having not slept well for weeks. But Victor insisted that we attend Ryan's wedding. He picked out a wine-colored dress for me and told me to look decent and not mess things up. At the wedding, the venue was beautiful, with white silk, covered chairs, vanilla-scented candles, and champagne glasses neatly lined up. Victor was busy adjusting his light blue silk tie, looking very proud. I stood beside him, holding Lily on my hip. When I reached for Victor's hand, he flinched and pulled away. He leaned in and said coldly, "Please don't embarrass me. Today, you're just the babysitter. Look good, stay quiet, and don't draw attention." Those words felt like a knife in my heart. During the wedding, when Ryan invited someone to share a few words, he called on me. Victor whipped his head towards me, warning me not to say anything. But I couldn't hold back anymore. I stood up, walked to the stage, and spoke from the heart. I told everyone about how I'd lost myself in my marriage, how I'd become a shadow doing all the household chores and taking care of Lily. After the wedding, Victor was furious. He said I'd embarrassed his whole family. He reminded me that I depended on him for the house and the car. That was the moment I realized I couldn't stay in this marriage any longer. When we got home, I started making a plan. I opened my old laptop, which had been in the closet for almost a year. I logged into my old work email and started reconnecting with old clients. I got an email from an old client, Stella, who needed a full redesign for her bakery's product packaging. She paid me 50% up front, and that money was enough to cover Lily's formula for a month. My friend Maya, who was the top student in our college class, messaged me when she saw my name on the bakery's packaging. She told me her company was hiring freelance web designers and offered to refer me. I was hesitant at first, but in the end I decided to give it a try. I got an interview and it went well. The interviewer, Ms. Harper, said they were looking for someone who understood persistence. But then, Victor started to get suspicious. He installed a tracking app on my phone and deleted all my design files on the laptop. He also told my mom that I was unstable and overworking. I knew I had to leave. I started gathering evidence, hiding important documents, and researching temporary housing for single moms. One night, at 2:37 a.m., I quietly slipped out of the house with Lily. I drove to the Women's Support Center, and when I arrived, a kind woman named Mrs. Davis, the intake coordinator, welcomed me. Now, here I am. I'm still facing a custody battle with Victor, but I'm not afraid. I have Maya, Ms. Harper, and Mrs. Davis on my side. I have my work and I have Lily. I've reclaimed my worth, and I'm ready to face whatever the future holds. I know that I've made the right choice, and I'll never go back to being a shadow.